One of the things which I'm really excited to bring to you in the Mumbai Native Kitchen with Soul Company is the food of the original inhabitants of Mumbai. So in the food, you also get a bit of a history lesson and of course some fabulous food as well. But don't get worried. Don't get very serious about it. And we've got Alefiya Jain with us today, who's representing the East Indian community, which is one of the oldest communities of Mumbai. I'm from Bengal, but I'm not East Indian, nor are the Orias or people from Assam East Indians. But there are a set of people in Mumbai in the west of India who for some reason call themselves East Indian. Alefiya Jain, why are you guys calling yourselves the East Indians?
This is like an accusation. I'm from the east of India. Why are you
yes. This can't happen. This I'm going to write letters to the editor. We Bengalis, when you get angry, we write letters to the editor of the Statesman.
I could just purely tell you, blame it on my ancestors. I've got nothing to do. Blame it on my ancestors, on the Portuguese ancestors who traded with the East India Company. So,
but tell us about.
Yeah. So see, listen. East Indians are original inhabitants of Mumbai. Okay, they have been here since forever. Of course, the background of everyone living in India is Hinduism or whatever the respective religions are, but we have a lot of converts. Christianity in India is obviously because of the conversion that happened when Saint Francis came to Goa and Saint Thomas came and all of that, and all of the work. So the East Indian community, the Catholic community, is based towards the coast of Mumbai. So that's like Bandra, Kalina, Santa Cruz, and further on. So you come down towards, Vasai, Virar, that area. Then you come down to the coast where we are living. That's Gorai, Uttan, Manori, Malad. These are the areas where you'll find the major East Indian community. And of course, this entire community, this area has been populated by fisher folks because fishery is one of the main occupations around the area here. But we also have fields at the same time because the geography, the demographics of this place here is that we are a beautiful hillock. We have flat plains where there are fields, and that allows for agriculture and allows for fisheries to happen at the same time because we have the sea also on the other side. So the East Indian food that comes straight from the farm. So it's like from the farm to the table, from the coast to the table. That's how our food is inspired. So that's like a short description about who the East Indians actually were. So in very simple,
and there's a Portuguese influence also, right?
Yeah, like my ancestry, and most of the East Indians, of course, have a Portuguese influence because the Portuguese did come to India in the 1500s or 1700s, and post that when they traded in Gujarat and all these places, Calcutta and basically the coastal ports, their influence and their work, their food, their traditions, their culture was quite a bit around here. And then like I was saying, I always make a joke about these things of who the East Indians were. So the East Indians were my people who kind of fooled around with the East India Company, the Britishers, and that's how we are like a hybrid breed here that are called the original inhabitants of Mumbai.
And talking of original inhabitants, I believe that your house from where you'll be cooking for the feast on Sunday is 300 years old.
Yes. Yes, my house is 300 years old. This house belonged to my great-great-grandfather. Of course, I'm the third generation. And we are here, and it's beautiful. It's a very nice place to be. I mean, though it's away from the city area, I usually travel like almost 30 kilometers one way to get to the city if I need to. But it's quiet. The beach, I'm 2 minutes from the beach. I am 5 minutes away from the field. So, and if I want fresh vegetable, fresh fish, I just wake up at 4 in the morning, go to the beach, buy fish off the sand.
Wow.
As soon as you get off the beach. Yeah. Like the fish is still alive. Like I'm like, okay, let's go.
Wow.
So please, besides the house as well. So whenever we drop the coconuts, we crack them open, then the remaining of the malai we have to eat with sugar, right?
Wow. So this is as Mumbai native as it gets. And Alefiya is talking right now from Uttan in the outskirts of Mumbai. And ironically, I am an Indian from the east. And I'm talking to her from Bandra, which is where she originally is. but that's rather funny. Now the thing is, it's really hard to get East Indian food in the city because there are not really any restaurants. There have been one or two attempts, but nothing really concerted. I've had the good fortune of trying some of that because I live in Bandra and I have friends who are East Indians. I love their food. But tell me, Alefia, where did you learn your East Indian cooking from?
My food influences all come from my grandmother and my mother. Like, I have seen my grandmother cook for several people at one point in time. So there was this one childhood, like I was telling you about, a memory where I remember standing in the dining hall. So my house is, I have a dining hall. Okay, so it's like you have a backyard, you have a kitchen, you have a kitchen room, a dining room, then you have a dining hall, you have two bedrooms, and then you have a living hall. So it's like a whole Portuguese structure. It's straight. The
Wow.
house is straight. Yeah, if you stand at the back door, you would see the front door. So the thing is, I was standing there, and the house was buzzing with people, cousins and folks from Bandra, and everyone had come over. I don't remember the occasion, but I do remember the table boasting of my grandmother's food. Okay, the table boasted of a stuffed pigling, which was roasted on a spit. Of a stuffed pigling, which was roasted on a spit. And I seen my grandmother sitting and doing that. And I have seen her cook duck moil on the chula. I have seen her cook. And listen, you need to know this one thing, that the meats that were used in the food at that point in time were rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the early times, we always had people reared their own meat at home, right? Like a chicken, roosters, ducks, turkeys, and pigs, and all of that. So my grandmother also had like a tiny little coop, because this is a farmhouse, obviously. And I do remember that she slaughtered two of the ducks. she slaughtered two of the ducks to make the duck moil, but it was worth it. It was so tasty. So I remember seeing the duck moil on the table, the potato chops on the table, the rotis, the fugyas, the salad, the pickle, the fried fish, the bombills. Oh my God, the stuffed bombills.
Bombay
Yes,
duck.
that was one. Patel, the vindalus, yes, the fugat, and all of these vegetables. The entire table was a spread fit for a king. And my grandmother cooked it alone for
Wow.
a bunch of 25 people at one point in time.
I,
So, uh, my
I have had
inspiration
it.
for food, sorry.
So I've had your duck moil, which is fabulous, and I've had the East Indian
Yeah,
sopatel, which is my favorite sopatel. The
yeah,
East Indian
yeah,
sopatel is my favorite. So tell us, what are the
yeah.
dishes which you have for us as part of the Mumbai Native Kitchen Festival? What are the
Okay.
dishes?
Yeah, for the Mumbai Native Kitchen Festival, I am actually I am trying to relive this childhood memory of mine, of this whole Sunday lunch that my grandmother prepared, where, I was waiting with a fork and knife just to dig into the potato chops that were ready. So I I want our clients who would come to us, the Soul Company, to actually have the same experience that I did as a kid. And if you remember food as a child, I think it's one of the best experiences, because you're like, um you don't really have any other prenominations of what it's going to be or anything as such. You just eat what you get. Like, you're a kid at the end of the day. So that's the same feeling I want our clients to have. So I'll tell you what I'm going to be serving is, I am doing buff potato chops. Okay. And my grandmother used to serve buff potato chops with a brown sauce, which was made
Wow,
with the buff broth. So yeah.
that's unique.
So I'll be serving buff potato chops with the brown sauce. And I'm serving a sorpatel. So I'm serving a pork and a beef sorpatel, not just a pork sorpatel. I'm doing a pork and a buff
Wow,
sorpatel. Now, there is a small story to sorpatel. So initially, during weddings, where now in the 20th century, we have people who actually cater. So we in at this time, like over these decades, or over the past 5 decades, I think people have started catering, right? They have started catering and this and that. But in the initial days, when there was no concept of catering, people got together from the village to cook for weddings, to help people. And so it was a preparation that started a month prior in the house itself.
wow.
So there would be a wedding house and there would be people gathered in that wedding house to cook for the wedding. So it would be a contribution from everyone in the village. And the sorpatel was always made always made last in the sense, obviously a couple of days prior, because it needs to set and everything. But the sorpatel is actually the combination of everything that does not go into making a pork vindaloo, does not go into making a beef curry, does not go into making a pork roast. So you could say that the organs of the body of an animal which do not go into making a curry would go into making a sorpatel. So nothing is wasted.
I have a favorite hashtag of mine during the lockdown, which is
Yeah.
hashtag love your leftovers. Love your
You
leftovers.
love
So anyway, this is
Why
Sopatel is
wouldn't
just
you
that.
love it?
No
Yeah.
wonder I love a Sopatel. What else?
Yeah.
There's a rice dish also, right?
Kalyan, but you may have to cut this off out of the recording. Okay. Can I say it here?
Just one second.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a sorpatel. Now we'll talk about the curry. So I am serving our clients a duck moel, and this duck moel, I'm obviously going to be using a Peking for this duck moel because it is a little more fleshy, more tasty, better fat, and all of that. So I'm using a duck moel, but I'm going to be using the genie in the bottle, my genie in the bottle, and that's the bottle masala for this particular curry. So this curry is purely made only with bottle masala and vinegar.
Wow.
That's it. Yeah. So just bottle masala, vinegar, and of course some herbs, fresh herbs. But
And
just
will you tell us a bit about the bottle masala? Because not everyone knows about the bottle masala.
absolutely. So the bottle masala is one of the signature masalas of the East Indian community, and every East Indian household have their own recipes. Okay. And it is obviously a secret because it has been handed down generations to generation. So every generation has their own twist or tweak or something to it. So basically, the bottle masala is a concoction of a couple of red dried chilies, like different kind of red spicy chilies. It's a concoction of a couple of spices, and then put together. The powders have been made, but the bottle masala initially was actually, you're supposed to be roasting it on a an earthen pot. We call it tizal. A tizal is a very flat plate, okay, which sits well on the chula, and you need to roast your spices, your chilies a little bit. You need to dry out the moisture from the spices and everything, air dry the chilies. It's a whole process. The whole month of May goes into just making bottle masala. It's a process of around 15 to 30 days, so you dry
I,
your spices. Yeah,
I saw it
and then,
being made. I saw it being
sorry.
made in Chef. I saw it being made in Chef Alu's house, and there were these
Yes.
ugly women who come and yes, who pound
It's
it.
a the whole idea, like now we have machines to powder our masalas, but machines kind of really don't help with the taste of the masala. And whereas the pounding lets the oils loose in the spices.
Yes,
It
yes,
lets the
yes.
when you're using a mortar pestle, you can make out it lets the oil loose in the
The
pestle, which
fat,
does not
yes.
happen. So you get this really beautiful texture and color in the whole mortar pestle, the big one that they do, and it's a wooden one, or either it's a stone one. That's how they make it. So that's the history of bottle masala, basically. So
Okay,
yeah,
so we got the duck moe, and then what
yes,
else? And this is
and then
different from the Kerala dish, which is called the moili. Completely different.
okay, moili is a dish cooked with vinegar.
Ah, okay.
Moil is a dish cooked with vinegar, like vindaloo. Vindaloo is a dish
Yes.
cooked with vinegar and spices, right? So there's a Keralite vindaloo, there's an Mangalorean vindaloo, Goan vindaloo. So vindaloo as a word is a generic word, obviously, but where the vindaloo comes from is what the distinction of the vindaloo makes is
Hmm.
actually. So similar to a moil, there are Keralite moils also, and there would be an East Indian moil too. But the way their masalas would be very different, because my base masala for this curry is the bottle masala. That's the ultimate base for my. So that is what makes this moil different from another moil, of course.
And what else? What else?
And I am doing, after this, I'm doing the Aros Fagat. Aros Fagat is a wedding rice. We call it Aros. Aros means rice. Fagat means it's cooked with steam and boiled. So I'm making Aros Fagat, which is, cooked with a couple of spices, and then, slathered with some nice fried onions and fried cashews and raisins. Yeah. It's just a very beautiful, aromatic. Okay, by the way, Arroz Fagat is actually made with a certain rice, which is called, if I'm not mistaken, aboringa or something like that.
Arborio rice in Italy.
rice.
The
Yes, 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 yes.
arboreal, yes.
It's a very Portuguese word. It's cooked with that rice. So if that rice is not available, we use the regular basmati, which is the regular commercial rice that people would like to eat. So that is what arroz fogata is all about. I mean, a different kind of rice also works. We just had All Souls Day. Okay, we just finished with All Souls Day, and during that time we also have the harvest as well. So we call it the Agera feast and all of that, during which we have the new rice which has been given out.
Yes,
And
Notun
with this,
Chan.
yeah, the new rice, with this particular new rice, during the All Souls Day, the day when you venerate the souls that have gone, crossed over, you create something called as the atola, which is made of this rice. So it's a dish called atola. It's made
Wow.
of coconut milk and all of these things. So
So what
that's
else
a
we
little.
have on Sunday? We have more, right?
No, we are having cucumber cake. We are having cucumber cake. So I'm of
There's
course
a
doing
cake made out
fugyas.
of cucumber. There's a
Yeah,
cake
yeah,
made
yeah.
out of cucumber. It's like a salad.
No. how how I wish it was just salad, but it's not. It's a
What's a cucumber
okay.
cake?
Let me tell you. So the cucumber cake is actually a poor man's cake. Okay, it's the farmer's cake. It is something. It's all the fresh ingredients from the farm thrown together to make the cake. So the cake is usually made with jaggery, but I use sugar in it to give it the proper consistency and the texture. And plus, of course, jaggery changes the color of the cake. So we use a long cucumber. Is this big a long? Can you see? Okay, this big a long cucumber. It's called the killi. It's a dark green color, really thick.
Wow.
We use that, and the amount of water in that water content is the water that I use to make the cake. I don't throw
Wow.
away the water. Yeah, so the whole taste of your cake actually. So this is a tip for the people who would like to make cucumber cake. Please do not throw away the juice of your cucumbers. Use that to make your cake.
Don't throw
Yes.
away the juice of your cucumbers are the wise words from Alefia Jain. And if you know Alefia, and I'm sure you have got a hang of that by now, you can keep continuing.
We're doing fugyas as well.
Oh, you're doing fugias as well. My God, how much is that? How much food is that? What are fugias?
No, so fugyas are basically just Indian donuts, to be honest. But they're not sweet. They're just East balloon breads. But actually, there's a technique to make fugyas. Like how there's a technique to make anything when it comes to bread. Of course, there's a technique to make fugyas. The only reason it's called fugga means balloon. Okay, so it's a fermented East balloon bread. So it's basically you hold your hand like this. Okay, so you scoop out the fugya batter from where it is, and it's in your hand. Now what you do is you push your thumb inside. Okay, you push your thumb inside, and when you are pressing the fugya batter, there is you push pressure with this thumb over here, and you push it in. So this air gap here actually causes the maida to
Wow.
rise, causing an
Wow.
air gap inside the balloon, and then you
Wow.
drop it in. So that's why it's called fugyas. That's the technicality of
Wow.
making. Yes,
And
yes,
since I'll be eating and not making it, how do you eat
yeah.
with the fugia? Do you dip it into the sopatel, or what are you supposed to do? How
So,
do you how
uh,
do you eat
so
the food?
yeah, so I'm kind of deviant when it comes to my East Indian food. I use fugyas for dessert, and I use fugyas for dinner rolls as well. So, but this particular spread that I will be providing on Sunday, I would suggest you dip your fugyas in your duck moil, in your sorpatel, and you have it. It's going to be a great time.
So the only thing which we are going to miss on Sunday is the company of Alefia, because you've seen she's like a complete riot, and you can continue talking, talking, talking. But I'm not going to take any more time of her, because the food takes a lot of time to prepare. And Alefia, please focus on the food, because you made us so hungry that we can't wait till Sunday. So so this is Kalyan Karmakar from the east of India, now in Bandra West, signing off, talking to Alefia Jain, who's East Indian, uh, and who in Uthan was talking about Fugia, which is made with yeast, which is not
Yes.
yeast. We are hopeless. Thank you. But do check out the Soul Company menu. It's going to be a riot. Thanks, Alefia.